Ferrari's 2025 season is spiraling out of control, and absolutely nobody saw this kind of catastrophe brewing. Deep within the hallowed walls of Maranello, what was once seen as a redemption arc has mutated into a full-blown disaster. A catastrophic design flaw, hidden beneath the scarlet skin of the SF25, has turned this promising car into a nightmare machine. It's no longer just a matter of outright speed or missing a few tenths here and there. Oh, this is a foundational engineering flaw, a deeply embedded miscalculation that's now unraveling Ferrari's season piece by piece. We're talking about critical ground clearance problems, aggressive but now illegal floor flexing, disastrous suspension configurations, and the kind of internal strife that forces top-level resignations. Ferrari's meltdown at the Miami Grand Prix was more than a poor weekend. It was the moment the curtain was finally pulled back on months of instability, revealing chaos behind the scenes. Could this be the tragic early end of Hamilton's Ferrari dream? If you're a hardcore Formula One fanatic, this is your moment. Grab your headphones, dim the lights, and settle in. This is the deepest, most explosive breakdown of the SF25's problems you'll find anywhere. And trust me, you won't hear this level of detail on your standard F1 broadcast. Tap that subscribe button, smash the like icon, and drop a passionate Forza Ferrari in the comments if you're still holding out hope for a comeback. Let's dive headfirst into the fire. Miami wasn't just another disappointing race, it was Ferrari's full-on wake-up call. The SF25 looked borderline dangerous on track. The car was bottoming out harshly on straights, twitching mid-corner, and struggling for stability through chicanes. Drivers reported violent oversteer in slow-speed sections and terrifying instability at high-speed turns. But that was just the surface. The data from Miami told an even scarier story. Severe plank wear, inconsistent downforce, and a platform so unstable it left the engineers scratching their heads. Ferrari's margin for setup flexibility? Practically non-existent. It's a car that refuses to be pushed and crumbles the moment it's leaned on. And when a veteran like Hamilton, who's seen it all, says, "We know where the issue is and we're waiting on changes," he's not just voicing frustration. That's a thinly veiled warning shot. The car's issues aren't just known, they're unfixable under current constraints. Let's unpack the core issue, the SF25's ambitious low-riding design. Ferrari pushed the ground effect concept to the extreme, aiming to suck the car to the tarmac and create massive aerodynamic grip by sealing airflow underneath. Sounds brilliant on paper, but the execution? A disaster. The floor suffers from severe wear whenever it hits curbs, dips in the track, or even subtle surface undulations. The material integrity isn't holding up. The car is literally grinding itself down. The only solution Ferrari currently has? Raise the ride height. But that immediately compromises the entire aerodynamic philosophy. The ground effect collapses. The aero balance becomes wildly unpredictable. The car? Undrivable within its intended operating window. It's a devastating catch-22. This is the equivalent of designing a fighter jet, only to find out the wings shear off in turbulence. The flaw isn't in the adjustments. It's in the fundamental architecture of the vehicle. Now here's where the nightmare deepens. It's not just aero. The SF25's mechanical structure, especially the rear suspension, is misaligned with its aerodynamic concept. The suspension isn't providing the necessary precision to control the floor's interaction with the track surface. The geometry is flawed. Jock Clear, one of the sharpest minds in the paddock, once said, "The floor operates on a boundary layer. It's the most delicate aerodynamic surface on the car. If you can't control its distance to the ground with millimeter precision, all your data becomes worthless." We're looking at a car whose entire concept is built on a foundation that doesn't know how to support it. The result? A machine that's technically brilliant, but tragically undrivable. Desperate to fix their correlation issues, Ferrari threw everything into their simulation program. They revamped their wind tunnel, added dynamic sliding belts to simulate track conditions, and increased CFD resolution. On paper, their tools looked cutting edge. Team principal Fred Vasseur was openly optimistic, claiming tunnel-to-track correlation was improving rapidly. But if your baseline design is flawed, no amount of simulation accuracy can save you. The data might match better, but it's still wrong. You can't win a world championship with digital optimism. You win it by delivering lap time when the lights go out. As if things weren't bad enough, the FIA dropped a regulatory bombshell just before the Las Vegas GP, a technical directive that clarified how much floor flexing would be deemed legal. That directive cut straight to Ferrari's Achilles heel. Internally, Ferrari scrambled. They had to stiffen floor mounts, reinforce lateral bracing, and raise ride height even further. Every tweak pushed performance further down the drain. Ferrari wasn't just skating a fine line, they were designing around regulatory ambiguity. Once that loophole closed, so did their performance window. Enjoying this deep dive into Ferrari's chaos? Show your love with a thumbs up and help us reach more F1 fans. Sound off in the comments. Can Ferrari turn this around, or is the dream dead before it began? And hit subscribe, because this rabbit hole goes deeper. Here's the big gamble. Ferrari's working on a mid-season rear suspension upgrade to stabilize the floor and reintroduce predictability to their aero platform. Sounds great, but the risks? Massive. Tearing out and redesigning major mechanical components mid-season is a logistical and technical nightmare. It risks shifting balance, destabilizing tire performance, and throwing off driver confidence. You're performing heart surgery while the patient's running a marathon. Best case? You reclaim some stability. Worst case? You unleash a domino effect of unintended side effects, and there's no time left to correct course. Then came the hammer blow. Enrico Cardile, the technical director who oversaw the SF25, walked away in the middle of a crisis. Officially, it was a resignation, but insiders suggest political tension and mounting pressure from upper management. When the lead architect of your car leaves mid-project, the implications are devastating. Ferrari's internal compass is spinning, and Hamilton? He's suddenly found himself steering a ship that's lost its captain. Watch Lewis closely these days. His tone is sharper, his language more urgent. Post-Miami, he admitted Ferrari had lost performance, and hinted they knew the reason. That's not critique, that's disillusionment. Hamilton didn't jump ship from Mercedes to flounder in the midfield. He came to win, and if Ferrari doesn't deliver soon, there's every chance we'll see fireworks. This story is far from over, and the longer it goes unresolved, the more combustible it becomes. Adding fuel to the fire, McLaren. The MCL39 is smooth, reliable, fast, and clicking. Their upgrades are hitting every mark, their simulations are spot on, and their results speak volumes. Every McLaren overtake on a Ferrari is a gut punch to Maranello. It's not just about lost championship points. It's about morale, confidence, and pride. The pressure is on, and if Ferrari doesn't respond decisively, they risk getting left behind for good. Ferrari's 2025 campaign is on a knife's edge. A flawed aerodynamic vision, a mechanical concept in conflict, a simulation system that can't match the real world, a rulebook that's moved the goalposts, a leader gone, and competitors charging forward. They can still turn this around, but every change is a roll of the dice. And in Formula One, even the smallest error can be fatal. This could be the moment Ferrari hits rock bottom, or begins a legendary comeback. The next few weeks? Absolutely critical. So, what do you think? Can Ferrari engineer their way out of this collapse? Or are we witnessing one of the greatest breakdowns in modern F1 history? The next 3 races will define everything. In our next video, we're revealing insider info on Ferrari's secret Imola upgrades. Will it be the turning point or the final nail in the coffin? Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and stay tuned, because in Formula One, everything can change in a heartbeat.